Hello! So today I'm going to be talking about Sarah Waters' Fingersmith. Nominated for the Booker Prize in 2002, this book is a captivating blend of mystery, suspense, betrayal, secrets, and a boatload, and I mean a bloody boatload of twists, all set in a Victorian underworld. It's got that Dickensian flavour, and it felt like the perfect read in the lead up to Christmas. Because nothing screams Christmas quite like a Victorian underworld. Now, I had never heard of Fingersmith before, but in 2016 I watched a film called The Handmaiden by Park Chan-wook. I actually didn't think this movie would be for me at the time, but I really loved Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Old Boy and Lady Vengeance by Park Chan-wook, so I pretty much will watch anything he directs. In fact, I love that movie so much it made my best films of 2016 list. Aside from the fantastic acting, the wonderful cinematography, the lovely editing, the beautiful colour grading, the power of this movie was all in its story and the twists that take place. When the credits started rolling, I quickly realised that this movie was based on a book called Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. My immediate reaction was to run out and buy it. I must buy this book, and find out the differences between the book and the movie. It's something that I love doing. I love either reading a book before seeing the movie, or watching a movie and going out and reading the book. My preference is always to read the book first, then watch the movie, so I have an idea of what I think it would look like in my head, then I can see it on the screen, but I do like doing it the other way as well. However, it dawned on me that the power of this movie, one of its main strengths, was the fact that the story, the intrigue, the twists, the turns, and the different directions that it went in would be lost when I read it, because it was still too fresh in my mind. So I decided to wait, and wait, and wait, and then this Christmas I finally thought to myself, do you know what? I can't really remember that much about the movie anymore. Now's a good time to dive into this novel. Now, before I go any further, with all mystery books that have twists within them, it is always best for you to go into it knowing absolutely nothing at all. Diddly squat. So, even though there will be no spoilers in the rest of this review, I can say that anything I say will diminish the power of this novel and the journey that you go on. So please, keep watching if you want to, but if you are intrigued to read this novel and you've watched a few other reviews, then I would say don't watch this, go away and read it and then come back. So what's this book about? We start the book following a 17-year-old Sue Trinder, who is an orphan and has been raised by petty thieves, fingersmiths. The head of this Fagin-style gang is Lady Sucksby, who is the matriarch of this kind of gang, this sort of family. Along comes a character called Gentlewoman, who is well known among the thief community as being one of the best con men, best hustlers around. The gentleman needs Sue Trinder for his latest and largest con, one that will see him and Sue very wealthy indeed. Sue must travel to the countryside and impersonate a maid and convince a character called Maud to fall in love with the gentleman. Maud is the heiress to a very large fortune, but she is orphaned and under the care of her uncle, who is an avid book collector. Maud's fortune will only be released to her once she marries, but due to her very controlling uncle, this doesn't seem likely. So Sue and the gentleman are going to have to do everything in their power to try and convince her. Now, if you've read the book, you know I am missing out a million things there, but I am really resistant to give you any more details or to go any further in fear of spoilers. As already mentioned, this book is a very, very effective page turner. The twists, you don't really see them coming, and they drastically change and shift the way that you view the story and the characters. So let's do my likes and dislikes, and we'll start with the likes. And there was a lot to like in this one. First like is the prose. The prose is just stunning. It is so descriptive. Maybe a bit too descriptive in moments, but I'll get onto that later. But it is just so beautifully descriptive. The sights, the sounds, the smells. I felt like I was there. I was fully immersed in this world. The prose just flowed beautifully. Sarah Waters has done a stunning job of bringing this world to life. Amazing. Another like is the characters. They are all flawed, but also incredibly smart. Some are vicious, some are cunning, but they all felt incredibly well-rounded. And as the story progressed and the shifts took place, that just cemented itself even more. Another big like is the story. The twists and the turns and the shifts that this novel takes and the ideas and the themes within it were just really enriching, really engaging. I just loved being in this world and I loved going on the journey that this story took me on. And now on to the dislikes. And I only have one. This book is very, very descriptive, and 80% of the time I loved it for that. I wouldn't have been immersed in the world as much as I was if it wasn't for those descriptions. The sights, the sounds, the smells, all of that jazz, it really put me there. However, in the second half of this book, it felt a bit draggy. The pacing felt a little bit off. As the story started to shift, I really wanted the pacing of this novel to shift with it. Sarah Waters had already done an absolutely fantastic job of bringing me into this world, so in the second half, when the story beats are really picking up, I wanted the drive of the pacing to match it, but it really, really didn't. And I'm not going to lie, there are moments within the second half of this book where I just felt like I wanted things to get moving a little bit more. I got it. I knew where we are. We just needed to keep progressing. At 550 pages long, I think you could shave 100 pages off of this book and it would have been so much better. To me, that is. To me. I know there's some people out there who might go, there's not a single page, a single line of dialogue that could have been taken away from this wonderful novel. And if so, brilliant. I'm glad the pacing worked for you. But for me, if this was 100 pages less, I think it would have been right in the sweet spot and it would have probably been a 5-star read. However, because of that pacing issue in the second half, I can't give it 5 stars. But guess what? This book is excellent. It's still a 4-star read. And as bleak as it might have been, I loved reading it in the build up to Christmas. It just seemed to suit my mood and the grey sky outside perfectly. So there you go. That was Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. Have you seen the film The Handmaiden or read this book? If so, what do you think about them? Let me know in the comments below. There are definitely some drastic changes between the film and the book that I would love to go into details of, but I can't for spoilers. So maybe if I've got the time in a future video, I'll look at the two differences between them. But this is an excellent book. And the movie is also fantastic as well. Engaging with either of these is a great way to go. What I can tell you is that Park Chan-wook, even though he has shifted location, mixed things around a little bit, he does a fantastic job in the movie of capturing the essence of what Sarah Waters was going for in this novel, which just further cements how good a bloody director he is. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed this in any way, then please, as always, hit the old thumbs up or subscribe and all of that jazz, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.